is going on, everybody, and welcome back to this week's Bourbon of the Week. My name's Chris. I'm going to be your host for today, and we're dipping back into a little bit more of my brother-in-law stuff before I give it back to him, because why not? He won't care too much, right? This is Larceny Barrel Proof B521, so probably still not on the market, seeing that we're already into 2022 January. They're probably already releasing A122, but everybody knows before we get started on all of that, time for the traditional sip. Cheers, y'all. All right, that's good. So here we have it, Larceny B521. I have not picked up a bottle of Larceny Barrel Proof myself yet. I do have Larceny itself, the small batch 92 proof, big bottle of that, and that'll probably stay that way for a long time. Maybe I'll use it for cocktails or something like that, because I wasn't a fan of the small batch, which is the reason why I don't think I picked up any of the barrel proofs, but I'm starting to learn that just because you don't like one thing in the line doesn't mean you're not going to like the next. This B521, from everything I've read and all the reviews I've already seen on it, was one of the better batches released by Larceny since winning the Whiskey of the Year, which they love to keep on here, in 2020. So I'm excited to try this. You know the rules: price, taste, drinkability. Let's get into it. We're going to start with drinkability. If you haven't already, please click that like, please click that subscribe button. It helps the algorithm out, and I would much appreciate it. Drinkability on this at 121 proof is fantastic. This comes in at 68% corn, I believe, 20% wheat, and 12% malted barley. So being a wheated bourbon, it's going to give us a little bit of a different taste profile than maybe we love, but we're going to get into that next. At drinkability on 121 proof bourbon, I want to use the word exceptional. This is an exceptional drinkability when it comes to this proof. We're talking up there in the Booker type of area. Booker's is something that I love to talk about drinkability about because it's 125 proof and it drinks like it's 100 proof. It's crazy the way that they can do it. And I've always asked myself, why can't more bourbons do what Booker's does? Because so many people want that high proof, but they don't want that ethanol kick, and that's what drinkability is all about. How well does it drink compared to its ethanol kick? This drinks way under its ethanol kick at 121 proof. I was expecting much more of a bite on this. And that's a fantastic thing, at least when it comes to me and my personal preference on bourbon, right? We've had the Stag Juniors of the world, which don't sip crazy hot, but we've also had things like Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, which just Jack Daniel's Coy Hill, almost to the point where it's not even worth drinking anymore because I could start a car engine with it. Now at 121 proof, you're probably thinking the same thing. You could start a car engine with it, but it doesn't sip that way, and that's the best part about this. So I'm going to give this easily one of the better, if not best, scores on drinkability and put it at like a 9.62. And that's no exaggeration. At 121 proof, it deserves to be up there. And the crazy part about the drinkability being so great on this is the taste is right there behind it. I absolutely love what I'm getting out of this. So we did Maker's Mark last week, the FAEO2, and the thing about wheated bourbons that I'm starting to enjoy more is that sweetness, right? I've always been a fan of the sweetness. Now the rye always gives you that spice, which changes things up in a bottle. And that's what I think I love about ryes, is they still have sweetness, but it switches things up for you and gives you a little bit of spice. This one works its way through almost in the opposite direction. Normally it's like heavy or a little bit of sweetness, heavy rye, and then it works its way into type oak flavors or anything like that at the end when it comes to a rye. This one is like the opposite. I start out with like a cinnamon note, a little bit of a baking spice, a little bit of a grain, which gives that little bit of a tingle on your tongue. But then you dive right into these fruity notes, this honey, this molasses, this sweetness. I think it's the citrus on the end. It's just so much going on and yet so well balanced. I really think, and this is tough to say, I think this might be my favorite flavor profile of anything that I've ever had before. It's close. If it's not the number one, it's definitely up there in the top 5. Like Bardstown Fusion 4 was a fantastic thing to experience. The flavor profile going on in there. Obviously something like Old Forester has always had a special place in my heart. The 1910 and the 1920. Respectfully, I like the 1910 a little bit more flavor-wise, but I like the 1920 a little bit more overall. That type of deal. But this flavor profile, and this is one of the most shocking things to me, is because I didn't think I was going to like this bottle going into it, right? I was going to put it in the 2021 Whiskey of the Year collection, but it's released 3 times a year, so I didn't want to do that. I was not even going to try it, and then I thought, you know what, before I give it back to my brother-in-law, let's pour it up at least and see what we think. And this, I'm telling you, you're going to love the sweetness on this, the spiciness on this. It's not a heavy spice. It's not a rye spice. It's a cinnamon. It's a baking spice. It's a grainy flavor, and then it goes right into this sweetness with these fruity notes, this molasses, this sugar, brown sugar, burnt brown sugar too. All of these things happening in this glass right in front of you, all at barrel strength, all at barrel proof. So it's giving them, they're robust. They're right in your, I know I'm going off on a tangent, but I really can't speak more highly about the flavor on this bottle, and it's kind of scary to me because I don't have it and I haven't had it before. Again, Larceny B521. For taste on there, we're going to put it back in the 9s, folks. We really are. I don't think it's going to be more than 9.27. 9.27 is where I'm going to put it, because there's always room to improve, right? There's always something that you can do to improve, but at a 9.27, I really don't think you can beat that too much. And as always, last but not least, we're going to get into price on this. And what can you really say for $50? Can you really beat this bottle? We talk all the time about competitors, right? You got Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, $60 that you're competing with. You got Stag Jr., $60 that you're competing with. You got 121, you're talking Booker's at like that 125 proof, $90 that you're competing with. Who else? Heaven Hill. You've got the Heaven Hill name behind it. You've got the proof behind it. You got barrel strength. You got limited release with only 3 releases a year. You've got an amazing drinkability and amazing flavor profile. What else do you really want from a bottle to be $50? I personally don't know. Which is why we're going to have to give this another fantastic score when it comes to price, because the way that the market is going right now, there's no way that these bottles stay at $50. They don't sit on the shelves now. They're limited releases. Heaven Hill is definitely going to cut. Now, we got mad at Heaven Hill for a little bit, right? They kind of screwed over their employees during the strike and everything like that. Nobody wanted to buy them anymore. But it seems like they're getting things back on track there. They're starting to get these releases back out. I think the A122, I guess it would be, is going to be late, if I'm reading that correctly, or if anybody told me that. I'm not, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I believe they are a little bit behind on releases because of that strike. This B521, I just can't speak more highly of it, and it's the most surprising. If I were to do a most surprising whiskey of the year, make sure I revisit this. When I post it on Instagram in 8, 9, 10 months saying, what's the most surprising whiskey of 2022? I want everybody to tell me it's a 2021 release, but I drank it in 2022 for the first time. I want you all to remind me to revisit this bottle because it's just fantastic. Score, price, I got to give it, I got to put it, we're going to be in the 9s again. This might win. This might be our number 1 whiskey as of right now with price, taste, drinkability, because it's just that good. I'm going to put it like a 9.31. I said it. What about it? But listen, while I add these scores up and see if this does top the list, let's learn a little bit more about Larceny during our Bourbon Bomb of the Week. See you on the other side. So if you've ever looked at a bottle of Larceny, you've probably noticed 2 things. First, this name right here, John E. Fitzgerald. Second is this key at the top. What do these 2 things represent? John E. Fitzgerald, you might have heard of another bottle, also made by Heaven Hill, called Old Fitzgerald. Same name, same story. He was actually the U.S. bonded government agent who had the keys to the bonded warehouse. If you know anything about bonded whiskeys, they have to be aged in a government bonded warehouse for at least 4 years. This man had the key to that warehouse. He would open up them doors, he would see all these whiskeys inside, and stories go that he stole uncut, unfiltered, barrel strength bourbons out of these whiskeys to enjoy for himself. And if he did, I can't blame the man. That's temptation in itself, sitting in a warehouse that he had the keys to. So next time you see a Larceny or an Old Fitzgerald, think about Johnny Fitzgerald, think about the keys, and I'll pour up a drink for him because he deserves it. What do you think? So when they say not all heroes wear capes, I would say John E. Fitzgerald is one of those heroes that we all wish we could have been. But folks, we have a new winner, top of the charts, top of the list, Frank Sinatra style, Larceny Barrel Proof B521, coming in at a 9.40, topping the charts, taking over Henry McKenna Henry, whatever you want to call it, but you know the rules. We always make sure that we made the right decision. So we have a little bit of this Larceny left. We are going to pour a little bit of this Henry McKenna, and we're going to see if we made the right decision here or if we have to drop it. Now we're going to make this short and sweet because this has already been a long enough video of me rambling on about nothing that you guys really care about, I'm sure. But let's see if we can do this. Let's see if we made the right decision. We can keep this down here. We're going to try the Henry. We're going to try the Larceny. We're going to see what we think. Both $50. Obviously, both coming out of Heaven Hill. Let's see what we think. That's actually really good. Still one of my favorites. 100 proof. Sips so easy. I made the right decision, guys. The sweet notes on this just falls a little bit flat when you compare it to something like this. It's not wrong. It's the right decision. Larceny, barrel proof, B521, topping the charts. But listen, that's where we're going to leave you for today. Make sure you check me out on Instagram at Bourbon of the Week. Every Tuesday at 4 p.m. we'll drop an image of the bourbon that we're going to review. You can go on and try and guess my score. If you guess the closest, I'll give you a shout out on the channel, as well as enter you in a monthly drawing for some cool custom stuff such as Glencairns, hoodies, t-shirts, hats, koozies, all kinds of stuff. So make sure you check us out on Instagram. If you want to help support the channel, check us out on Patreon. We have a special Discord chat just for Patreons, or if you want to come chat with us 24/7, you can check us out on our original Discord channel as well. Both those links in the description below. As always, please don't drink and drive, drink responsibly, and please stay healthy, stay happy, stay drinking. Cheers, y'all. Damn.